Memory is the creation of persistent change in the brain by transient stimulus. The brain goes through physical and chemical changes. It retains learned experiences over time through physical hardwired synapses. Learning versus memory. Learning acquires new knowledge and skills, while memory is the retaining of knowledge and skills for the future.
From the neuronal level, the physiological mechanism of learning and memory starts with arresting potential. Once a stimulus hits a neuron, an action potential is triggered, resulting in synaptic transmission. When the senses receive information, some are lost while some are sent to the brain for processing. After that, electrochemical circuits form between neurons, which result in stored memories. It is important to note that the memory is not found in any one location. Different parts of the brain are specialized for processing and storing information. For example, information is received through the thalamus, while the hippocampus is responsible for the creation of new memories. Other examples of locations for memory storage are the temporal lobes of the cortex, for semantic retrieval, the prefrontal cortex, for working memory, the cerebellum, for procedural and reflexive learning and conditioned responses. These are the key steps in memory storage processes. A stimulus is registered by the senses. As the information is processed further, it gets stored in the long-term memory. However, the amount of information readily available to the learner drops at each successive level.
Memorizing techniques. Memorizing techniques include chunking, which means taking individual units of information and grouping them into larger units, called chunks. In children, they can memorize up to 3 chunks, and in adults, approximately 7 chunks. Next is acrostics, which means the first letter of each word forms a new word to create a sentence. For example, when memorizing the levels of organization, we say, King Philip came over for good soup, as opposed to kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. Another example is using acronyms, which means the first letters of the words form a new word or possibly meaningless syllables that are easier to remember. For example, would be news, which stand for north, east, west, and south. The story method makes use of a story to associate items to be remembered. For example, in The Sound of Music.
Do, a deer, a female deer, red, a drop of golden sun.
The Loci technique uses spatial visualization to facilitate memory. It creates a mental image of a place and the items in that area. Last is associations. It creates vivid and memorable links through emotions, images, sounds, songs, smells, taste, touch, and etc. Examples would include experiences in heightened emotional state. It creates an image of what you want to remember, elaborates on it, and encodes it visually. Another would be memorization of concepts through the PRC song or vegetables through the song Bahay Kubo.